Ball, dunks.
Look at Strong running the floor out in front.
Not the spaces that we want, but it's the spaces you're going to get. St. John's 81, UConn 72. It says in the title, poop, but pee. Not the game that we wanted, but UConn falls to 22-2, 12-1 in the Big East. What a disaster of a season. Nothing is good. Everything is terrible. We will celebrate tonight's loss and more. Lots to talk about and break down. I'm sad. Harley Mania, how do you feel?
I'm doing okay. It sucks to lose, obviously, especially with the rivalry and all that. But, the tougher team, the more desperate team tonight, the team that played much smarter down the stretch won the game. And I think St. John should get credit for that. I'm really, really impressed by the level and the volume of the crash outs over a 22-2 team. I didn't know that the fan base had it in them, but I give everybody a lot of credit.
It's crazy pants.
Our buddy Cash Fraud just deleted his account over the first loss in 3 months, which I don't know. That seems crazy. But talk about being willing to die for it. There you go.
Dude, you got to give us credit, man. We're like a really great heel from like Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling circa the 80s. Like, win most of the time. You want to kill us all of the time. We're terrific trash talkers, but when it goes south, the whole thing blows apart. I mean, just the spin out, the crash out, temper tantrums. There was guys going, this fan base is so rude, and they're being mean to me in the concourse. And like, man, we are really good pipsqueak heels at times.
Yeah.
Gotta hand it to us.
Yeah, no.
We're doing it tonight.
And the game, I thought UConn opened pretty well. They get the 16-10 lead, and then it's one of many things we'll touch on. Dan goes to the bench. And the bench basically does what the title of the space is, poop but pee. It was a complete mess once they went to the bench. But it would be impossible not to start with the fact that Silas had a Malachi Smith-like night this evening. 18 points in 35 minutes, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 9 turnovers. Which everybody, he kills everybody in the country except St. John's. I give him credit, especially a St. John's team that has no point guard. None, as we know. They figured out a way to speed him up last year when he was at Georgia and this year at UConn. A lot of sloppy turnovers, man, and that's the killer overall. I mean, UConn, 15 turnovers, 9 from your point guard. It's going to be an issue.
Can't do that.
You can't do that on a night where UConn shoots 55% from the field, or they shoot 47% from 3. That's going to kill you. And I think St. John's deserves a ton of credit for, Zuby was tremendous on the inside, was great at the foul line, unlike a certain other center. Bryce was really good. They ended up, maybe the biggest surprise, going into the game was, I want to give Dylan Darling a lot of credit, man. That kid had the game of his life. Hit 9 points, hit a big 3 late in 21 minutes. It was great for them. But yeah, for UConn, it was, among other things, was the turnovers. And it wasn't even turnovers forced by St. John's pressure. They were able to get the ball in bounds. It was just a lot of live ball dumb stuff. Just a lot of live ball dumb stuff that they forced by being really physical, really intense. Their conditioning is sensational, which it has to be able to play that way. And it allows them to get the win. The other side of it, listen, everybody's doing the crash out over the free throw discrepancy.
Oh, no.
It is insane that St. John's shot 20 more free throws, but if UConn shot 20 more free throws, how many do you think they really make? And everybody's saying they need to shoot more free throws, folks. The team shoots thousands of free throws in practice every week. They shoot thousands of them. They practice this. I don't know what to tell you, and it's why it should drive you insane, because they do practice this, and they do keep the track of the numbers in practice, and guys do shoot better in games or in practice. When you put them in front of a white, hot, crazy crowd at MSG on a Friday night, you see what happens. Terrace, 2 of 6 at the line. Silas, 3 of 6 at the line. And they're the only 2 players that shot free throws in the game. So that's frustrating. It's upsetting. But also, the refs and the fouls aren't why UConn isn't boxing out. That's not the reason why St. John's gets, 9 offensive boards, many of them in really critical situations. It's not why St. John's ends up out rebounding UConn 32-26. It's not why St. John's outscores UConn in the paint 42-34. It's not why St. John's finishes with more assists than UConn despite not having a point guard. So you can complain about the refs all you want. That's not why UConn lost the game. So
yeah, I mean, like if you're a St. John's fan, you got everything you wanted tonight. Silas coughed the ball up a ton. For some reason, Dylan Darling was Michael Jordan tonight. Well, not Michael Jordan, but for him, even though he did foul 4 times, he had 9 points tonight. Hit some huge buckets for them off the bench. Like, look, they played a great game tonight. I thought we looked a little tight. But, we've been talking about this for 2 months, man. Like, I really felt pretty confident coming into this because it looked like we'd really turned the corner offensively. We shot the shit out of it tonight. We were, I guess 40% from three point, but I mean, we shot over 50% for the game. Like, for all intents and purposes, like, I think they fixed the shooting. But, a lot of the issues that have been issues the whole season kind of crept up, and we're on full display. This is what happens when you play a good team and you do the same shit you've been doing all year. You foul too much. The rebounding has been an issue. Terrace, if he's locked in defensively, we're terrifying to deal with. If he's not, it's no bueno. It's just a lot of the same things just keep popping up over and over and over and over again. I was talking about it earlier in Discord, but I feel like the 4 horsemen of the UConn apocalypse, are going to be some form of those 3 things. And then a sprinkling of the thing that happens somewhere in between, whether it's a poor bench performance or turnovers or whatever it so happens to be. And I think the most prurient quote that has been given about this team all year was with Dan when he was talking about, there's just something almost every single game that fails us. And I say that and I'm also not, I guess I'm in the same place that I was for years. I mean, we got to do 2 different spaces the last 2 games because the offense was terrific. And we get to do a different spaces tonight because we lost. So I'm super excited for all 3 of those things. But I also feel like we're, this loss has been coming. And I thought everything that we do bad was on display tonight. And you got to give Patino credit, man. I mean, they exposed a lot of it. And this was a game I knew we were going to go in. It's going to be a hot crowd. I kind of coming into the season, I had this penciled in as a loss. I really thought heading into this, tonight, with the way the offense looked the last couple of games, we're going to rinse them. And they just didn't. And I thought, they did a good job of selling out the last 10 minutes, kind of camping the 3-point line, making sure that we weren't going to make that late. Come back. They seemed totally content to kind of let Silas just get to the bucket, get his, and do whatever. But, while I say that, I'm just going to be honest. I know I'm going to sound like a complete copiamatic here, but I'm a little relieved they lost the game playing like this.
Mm-hmm.
I am happy that they finally touched the stove and did it to themselves. Because I'm hoping, knock on wood, maybe that this is the thing that kind of, snaps them too. I'm not really worried about them getting St. John's back in Hartford. We'll see what happens in the Big East Championship game. I'm not sitting here pressing the concern button, but they've had these issues all year. They haven't. There's days where certain aspects of them look better and look like they're turning the corner, and then days where they don't. And it's been a little bit of a whack-a-mole trying to make it happen. But what I'm going to say is I think I'm finally there with the starting 5. I think it is time to stop chasing the dream with the Alex Solo Braylon combination on the court at the same time. I'm not saying junk the starting 5, start them. You don't want to, start a whole spat of emotional hemophilia from a number of places with some of your most important players and benching people. But they're going to have to start getting more creative with the rotations. Tonight, I thought we just saw a lot of it, especially against a good team where, that group of five, it's kind of beyond choice paralysis to me. And tonight it really showed itself because I thought St. John's did a pretty good job of running us off the 3-point line, about as good as you can. We still took 19 threes tonight, which seems like a decent amount. For us, it's not. But I feel like it just limits. I think Alex has got layers to his offensive game. I think Braylon's got a ton of layers to his offensive game that we're totally not unlocking right now. And I don't like Solo having a ton of green light from three anymore. And he's got more depth to his game. And I feel like the three of them all on the court at the same time, you just get into this, who's on first, who's going to be the guy that takes a shot, initiates, imposes themselves on the game, and picks their spots the right way. And it's a good problem to have because the offense is designed for everybody to be really unselfish, right? Move the ball. But there's times where you're going to play more physical teams like St. John's tonight. We saw it a little bit with Florida, some other instances over the course of the season. And you got to find somebody to go go get a bucket, recognize the situation. And I feel like the three of them on the court, it's just not there. And we've talked about this for the last month and a half. But when you sort of start to get Stu and Ross involved, it seems like Braylon, Alex, Solo, they all fire off the screens better. They all create more space and movement. It creates more opportunities for Silas. It gets more back to the basket shit with Terrace, where he's in the low post, not 600 feet from the basket. It just opens things up more. And I'm not saying, bench somebody from the starting five. I don't think any of them is a problem or remotely anything like that. I don't like the combination of the three of them on the court. And tonight really kind of, I could see him, take another 2 games just to see if he can get it to fire. But man, I think they're just going to have to get more creative with the rotations. And I guess this is where I'll pass it to you. I think the bench production and the inconsistency with that is going to kind of force their hand to do it. Because we can't really be doing the hockey line changes like we've done in the past.
Yeah, you can't. This can't be like Kelly Harper with the Tennessee women's team where she literally does line changes. I understand.
So have we, though, the last 2 years.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And the bench guys weren't very good tonight, but you also kind of gotta meet people where they are. I think that, and Malachi was a mess tonight. He wasn't good. Everything you alluded to it. Everything about this game. If you told me St. John's won, it's part of why I'm not that worried about it in a way. Credit to St. John's, but everything that I would have thought would have happened if St. John's won happened, except for the fact that UConn actually made shots. I'm gonna guess they sped UConn up in the backcourt. I'm gonna guess Malachi was a mess when he was in. I'm gonna guess the bench didn't do much, and I'm gonna guess we were bad from the free throw line. Well, there you go. They did all 4. So in that regard, it's not long-term concerning. And also credit to St. John's. They did a great job with adjustments because they got a Hall of Fame coach. They made great adjustments on Braylon Mullins, who looked absolutely incredible in the first half. And the second half was 1 for 5 from the field, all of them from 3, and had 4 fouls. They did a great job with that adjustment. They also, Eric Rye, I would also tell you, well, I'm going to guess Eric Ryba looks like a 19-year-old freshman against Zuby Ejiofor, and he did. And I have no negatives about Eric's game tonight. I think that's exactly what that looks like. You have to experience it to get better from it. It would have been wild if he came in and was just great. So he struggled, which led to the fact that between Malachi struggling and Eric Reeves struggling, what you end up happening is all of your starters play 30 plus minutes. UConn gets a total of 28. I'm going to do some quick math. This is dangerous. 28 minutes out of the 200 from bench guys. So you have your starters play 75% of the game in a physical game against an extremely physical team, in a white hot building, a very intense game. That's hard. It's not a recipe for success long term. And if they want to be able to get those bench guys involved more, it would help Malachi Smith if he was getting to play with, not just Jaden Ross and Eric Ryba also. And I know, and Mally was bad tonight. I'm not pretending he was great, but oddly, I think if you want to, there's going to be situations where they're going to need him. This team is not going to make a Final Four if Silas is playing 35 minutes every game. It's not going to happen. We've gone through too many point guards. Like, unless he's Kemba, which I'd love him to be, I don't think he is. I don't think he's Kemba or Shabazz. I think he's really good, but it's rare when that sort of stuff happens. It's not rare for us, which is insane, but like, you can't, our argument with Tyler Kolek at Marquette for years was they were just grinding him into the ground.
Yeah.
And I think UConn's got it. If they want to get more out of the bench guys, they got to put them more in positions to succeed. And just change some of this stuff up. I pulled up the Hoop Explorer stuff again about the 5-man lineups, and it's even more jarring now. Like, if you look at like lineups you'd want on the floor, the worst performing one is the starting lineup. Now, it's not bad, but every other version of this is better by every metric. And yet the starting 5 have played 120 more possessions than the second most common use. It's not just like it's not performing at the best, but they play a drastic amount of the minutes. And that starting 5's turnover rate is 20%. So now you're giving 30 minutes to a set that turns the ball over every 5th possession. You're not going to win 4 games in the tournament doing that against really good teams.
Yeah. No, it's right on. I mean, the thing that the one thing I'm really worried about with this team right now, I'm officially concerned. # Malachi Smith. When he's bad, he's unplayable. And we're going to run Silas into the ground. And it looks good now, but like, I'm really worried about where that's at. Like, Eric's a freshman, dude. Like, he's going to have some inconsistency, but like, there's been enough load bearing there all season to the point where like, and Eric I'm not going to expect Eric. This was a terrible matchup for him tonight anyways. It just was what it was for him tonight. But,
I give him a pass on tonight. Like, that's,
Eric has unlimited free passes because he's a freshman for me tonight. And like, look, I mean, he's handled other guys really well. I mean, he handled Florida Badunga about as well as anybody could have hoped for. And like, single-handedly probably gave Arizona's front court, which is the toughest front court in the country. I mean, he fought all 3 heads of that monster by himself. Like, he's been phenomenal in stretches. Like, that one-on-one though, like, Zuby's just one of those guys that's like probably above average strength, but he's also got the footwork and a little bit of the finesse and just polish at this point that Eric's not necessarily going to have. But like, Eric's been good enough to be the backup center. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not sitting there and being like, oh man, we're really fucked now. Like, Eric has been totally fine as a backup center. Malachi Smith has not been good enough to be the backup point guard.
No, and he played 4 minutes tonight, and it felt like it was in his 4 minutes. Let me pull it up. In his 4 minutes, he was minus 12. That's hard. I know plus minus is a
disaster. I mean, just so sped up and like, and it's weird. I feel like he's going the wrong way. Like, he's the one guy on the roster. I'm like, man, I don't feel like this is going in the right direction at all with him. And like, if this is the case where we got to play Silas 35 minutes a night to do that, that scares the shit out of me, man. We ran RJ Cole into the ground a couple of years ago. We ran, Haas into the ground last year because we had to. He has got to be the guy that steps up. As a senior, you've got to be a guy that finds it. And, it's in there. We've seen it, in spurts this year, but man, as they go along, like, the book's out on him, and St. John's didn't do anything new that anybody else hasn't been doing. And it hasn't mattered whether it's been St. John's or Marquette or anybody. Like, he has just looked so off kilter and so easy to speed up. I hate it. I hate the direction it's going. So that's the one that kind of worries me. I mean, Jalen and Jaden, here's the flip side. Like, when, I'm going to be the devil's advocate to my own point here, where you're trying to like mix through rotations. I think part of the reason that Dan's hesitant to do it is because neither one of these guys like shows up every game and is like just going to give you something that you can depend on.
Yeah.
One of them usually does, but like, man, that's, I guess, the thing where I'm sitting here and like, I totally follow Dan's thinking here. You know, like when it comes to the idea and the concept of the starting lineup and like why Jalen and Jaden aren't more of a part of the offensive pie. Like I get it, but I also feel like the starting five is what it is right now. And he's got to start to figure out how to get these guys in there. And maybe part of the problem is because he's just not committing to doing it. And like, all right, I'm going to roll with Stewie or Jaden for in some combination, getting them out on the floor like for 15 minutes a game to let them kind of work the kinks out. But like, it's February. Like, that's the other piece with it, right? Like, it's February. You really want to be experimenting with this shit in February. So that's kind of like the weird in between. So like, you know, I mean, I guess you can go glass half full, glass half empty. I think this team's way closer to like the whole Andre Jackson just stand 4 feet closer to the basket tweak that they made in 23 and then they turned into a buzzsaw, than they are like a functionally bad offense or not a national title caliber offense. And they're way closer to that. But man, it's like threading a lot of needles and like, I just feel like it's a lot of minutia with this group right now.
Yeah. And tonight you saw it like tonight against St. John's on the road was the game where they decided to try the lobs of all the games. Like that was that to me was the choice paralysis situation. We started to see a little bit of that, but yeah, well, I'm not worried long term because tonight wasn't some like massive new thing. They've been doing a lot of these things in other games. They just hadn't lost, and tonight they finally lost. And like I disagree with you slightly. I don't think you should need a loss to make changes, but I also get it, especially Dan with his, fastidiousness with habits and stuff. I think Dan's going to look at the fact that they were up 16-10 with the starting lineup of playing well, and the bench is when the whole thing went sideways. To maybe he won't change it, but I would like to. I'm not even against those five getting like run. I just the numbers, and this is such a math oriented group, are so overwhelmingly in favor of the other
I know
groupings and it's a very easy thing to explain why, because it's just one less thing they have to think about when they run the other five. That's wild. I thought that, cause they need Malachi just to be able to play 10 minutes and just be like barely noticeable. He doesn't have to play great like he did in the Illinois game. It doesn't have to be that. It just can't be tonight either. And that's the thing. It's so boom and bust. And I think that's what makes it's so hard to kind of trust him because, it's wild how far it swings with him. He also has like 20 points in 2026 total. So he's not giving a lot of scoring. He's not turning the ball over. See, the wild thing is like his turnover numbers aren't bad, but it just looks.
But you watched the offense is a disaster when he's running the show. Like I don't have a nicer way to put it, and the scout is real simple on him. Pressure him up the floor, back him towards the corner, take away the first and the second action in the offense, and his brain breaks. That's the scout. This is like the 10th team in a row we've seen do this to him. It's the same thing. It's the same thing every single game. It has not changed. So I don't know. I don't know if that's like, it's so obvious at this point. Like I can't imagine the coaching staff is sitting there going, no, I wonder what's happening. I think they know. I just think Malachi's got to sort of find his mojo again.
Yeah.
Cause it's in there. Like good Mally is like I don't want people to forget, like there was a portion of the season in November, December where there were people literally having a conversation about like, I don't know, man. Should Mally be getting a lot more minutes than he's getting? And, that's not the conversation that we're having now. And, yeah.
Yeah,
it just is what it is. That's
his most common rotation is him with Solo, who's had a rough year, Alex, who's really good, Jalen Stewart, who we don't know what we're getting on a given night, and Eric Ryba, who's 19. So I'm not saying I realize he played poorly, but also that's not really a position for Malley to have a lot of success. And part of that's, you're the backup point guard, but I think getting him a little more run with, Braylon Mullins, might really do him well, just to get, and also he doesn't play a lot with Terrace. So as inconsistent as Terrace is, he's not a 19-year-old freshman. And that unit that he plays with the most often, they are turning the ball over 25% of the time. So it's, not exactly a vote of confidence in Malley, but also it's kind of a, the chef working with the ingredients situation. And also the reason I like the idea is I can't, Silas is amazing, but he can't be playing 35 a night. It's just not going to work long term. So yeah, just there's things to tweak. It's weird. It does feel like we're doing the same show, just with the numbers in a different direction. Kind of that we've done. They've had this coming, and St. John's is by far the toughest test in the league. So if anybody was going to get him, it was going to be St. John's at the Garden, and they do get him. So UConn, hey, 22-2, we're all going to survive. We're going to be all right. UConn can still be a 1 seed and all that. It doesn't really change a lot for them. It changes a lot for St. John's, who's trying to get up off of that 7-8 seed range, maybe, as we start to.
They're way above that. They're almost up to 15th in KenPom now, and they're surging up the metrics.
They're surging up the metrics. Rick's figured it out. We said this in the off season. I said, even if this goes south at the start, I'll poke a little fun, but I bet he'll figure it out.
Yeah. They're a weird team to prepare for too, because their guards kind of stink.
But the size, they're so big.
Even though Dylan Darling had a really nice night tonight, Ian Jackson wasn't a total disaster, although he's half asleep, and Isaiah Sellers is. But the point forward thing works, dude. I thought, I don't want to say we got exposed tonight, but I thought Rick had a great game plan tonight. It was so easy to draw Terrace away from the basket tonight and make him make decisions.
That was their entire plan. They were trying to drag Terrace as far away as they could.
Yep. Get Terrace out, get downhill, whether it was on out. Alex was at minus 12 tonight. He scored 17 points, which is drag him away from the basket, get him out of the paint. And that's another thing. We'll get into that, I guess, a little bit later, but Terrace was a fire defensively tonight. But that's what they've got to do. You got to drag UConn's rim protection out there. Terrace hedges way too much. That just can't continue to be a thing.
Did he need to change Ruben Prey? I know Ruben Prey's having a good year shooting from three, but I'll live with it if that's what he does.
Yeah. If Ruben Prey is the reason that we lose because he bangs 3 threes, I'm going to tip my hat. I'm going to giggle. I'll move along. Hedging on him, and just the number of fouls he's picked up out there the last 5 or 6 games, I can't watch it anymore. I'm not saying he needs to play 100% drop, but dude, stay on the foul line, please. We're talking a little bit about this in Discord. We were talking about it all night on the couch. It's he's sophomore year Sonogo stuck in a time capsule but he's not nearly as athletic or explosive or as explosive. He's really slow on the pick and rolls. That's why none of the lob plays work.
He never rolls.
Run the last couple years.
He doesn't roll. He picks.
Well, he kind of rolls, but he's got cement bricks for feet. So rolls. He's not an explosive athlete. And Sonogo used to do a lot of those really stupid fouls away from the hoop, but they're not saying they were acceptable and he cleaned them up. But there was also a world where that was more polishing the stone, because Adama could also, as many times as you go out and foul 30 feet from the rim, Adama could cover 20 feet in about 2 strides and block a guy on recovery. Terrace cannot do that. And Adama's decision-making was much better in terms of seeing these things. Terrace does not have that decision-making. He is a very slow motor guy. And that's not a criticism. It's just I'm not insulting him. I'm describing him as a player. And him getting the ball any more than like 6 to 7 feet away from the basket needs to stop happening. I mean, they have to kind of play to what the player's strengths are. We are not going to have a generational center every single year. It's a very hard thing to do. And I'm not expecting him to be that, but his flaws are really apparent. And like, man, that's the guy. Like, if you really want to like get to the soft underbelly of the defense, drag him away from the hoop, make him make decisions. He can't do it. He doesn't have the athleticism to recover. And they ate us up all night. Just getting guys downhill. Whether it was Mitchell, Isaiah Sellers had a couple nice drives to the rim. Fucking Dylan Darling.
Shout out to the big sky.
I got to give Dylan Darling some credit, man, because we've been fucking killing him all year, and he does absolutely suck donkey nuts. I want to be very clear about that. But tonight he did not. And got some huge baskets and frustrating loss because I feel like it's a more frustrating loss than it probably really is, just because of a lot of the things that we've seen over the course of the year. We just saw a lot of tonight again. And I don't know. Pretty much the entire St. John's area. Like, if you're a St. John's fan right now, like, I would rent a hotel room out and just lock myself in there and lay in my own bed naked with just my socks on. And you could never get me out of there. Everything they ever wanted out of a game they got tonight. Dylan Darling had a big night. Ian Jackson was an embarrassing train wreck. Silas Damari Jr., for the first time all year, turned the ball over a bazillion times. Terrace Reed looked lost. They shut Braylon Mullins down in the second half. They did it all in front of their favorite people. Your best friend, Millionaire Mike, or whatever his name is.
Yeah. The king of spring football. The powerhouse.
By the way, when they announced him as like that powerhouse, yeah, I know we already did this, but powerhouse ownership group of the UFL is a way to describe a group of humans.
If I were St. John's fans, I'd say, so we could have just paid like another couple million to get a point guard, but instead you needed to reincarnate the Houston Roughnecks. Is that what I'm reading? Is that correct? Is that correct? We could have just paid the extra couple of million. But yeah, Darling was great tonight. Josin Sanan was as bad as everybody in college basketball knew. So we at least got that. He's and Ian Jackson's bad. Ian Jackson's terrible.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Sucks.
Jackson and Sanan were as bad as we said. That's the only thing we got right. So, yeah.
I think Darling still does stink, but he didn't tonight, so that's all that matters, at least for tonight.
Yeah.
And Ruben Prey is my guy.
I love Ruben Prey. I'll always defend Ruben Prey.
I fucking hate that I love Ruben Prey.
He was -11, but still. There's a lot
he
recovered on
he's my favorite, like, weird, fucking shitty kind of, except when, he's just one of those guys that, like, there'll just be a night where you're like, oh, the Ruben Prey game.
When I watch him, I can't believe he isn't on Providence. He's so Providence coded. He's so Providence coded.
Can you imagine him playing with what's his face with the haircut?
Oh, God.
What a fucking superstar lineup that would be.
Oh, my God.
They'd probably have 2 more wins,
That'd be
for
wild.
being honest.
Yeah, because Ruben Prey actually plays defense is what they needed. Yeah, so tough loss for UConn, 81-72. But, got to turn it around. Everything that they did wrong tonight, stuff we've been talking about for a while. And you just hope that they fix it and that they don't get banged in the second round. UConn now off until Wednesday night, and they go out to Hinkle Fieldhouse. And then Saturday night, Valentine's Day night, with our friend Ed Cooley.
Happy Rat's already in my mentions.
And Cash Fraud deactivated his account, so that might be the world's fastest.
So we're not going to hear from him tonight, guys. He might be on a burner. I don't know, but we'll see. He's had a tough night. Happy Rat's already in my mentions, so I sound like Sleepers Media with my your terrorist talk. Sleepers got a good look at him before we did. He was a Michigan guy. doing a lot of the things that he did there that he does here.
I think my favorite thing is the Terrace needs to practice free throws thing, as if this is just some brilliant piece.
He's not a good free throw shooter. He had a nice year last year. I think it was an okay year last year at the line.
I'll pull it up.
He's just not.
Yeah, last year.
Not a good free throw shooter.
You know, he was 67% last year. This year he's 65%. Basically, which is still better than he was at Michigan.
Yes.
But the thing about Terrace is with the free throws, it's some nights it's 5 for 5. Some nights it's 2 for 6. It just swings. And I don't think there's anything you can do to know which one you're going to get until the game starts. So that's why I'm not going to worry about it, because it is the whims of the universe. There's nothing else is going to tell us if this team can hit free throws. But I do think that it was, Silas missing free throws. St. John just had him so rattled, and to see him miss free throws at the end was a sign of it. So credit to St. John's. They get
tired. Played 35 minutes tonight and got fucking physicaled up. Like, guys were in his shit. He turned the ball over 9 times. They were in his shit. They tired him out. What happens when your backup point guard doesn't give you any quality minutes? Happens.
I will say this, and it doesn't matter because they lost, but the dunk on Zuby was an incredible athletic feat.
Oh, that was awesome.
Wild.
No, it was a great dunk. By the way, apparently, Tom O'Grady and Dan Hurley played a little grab ass outside the locker room. They're like best buddies now.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's great.
What a nice.
That's
nice.
It really, that's the thing about this rivalry is like the boys in the back are just sharing beers. Everybody knows everybody's making money. We're filling arenas. Everybody's doing great.
I hate you. I love you.
Rick and Dan.
I hate you so much. I love you.
And our people, everybody loves each other. Everybody knows we're all making money here.
Mike Francis is going to have a fucking rough day tomorrow or Monday. Hey.
So yeah, St. John's gets the first one. UConn will get their shot in Hartford in a couple of weeks. And boy, do I bet people have things to whine about here.
I'm sure they do. And, folks, hot dog, the UConn Husky season is here. The good folks at Martin Roll Souls are here to keep you fueled so you can keep foot on gas throughout the year. Hot dogs, kielbasa's, sausages, deli meats, you name it. Not only can you grab what you need for the big game at their retail store at 45 Grove Street in New Britain, they'll even bring the meats to you and ship them across the country. That's Martin Roll Souls, official sponsor of the Connecticut Basketball Spaces Wiener line. And folks, it's now time to get to the meat of tonight's show. And by that, we mean the Martin Roll Souls Wiener line. We're going to be taking calls and check-ins here, for the next hour. So if you have, anything unproductive to say, please, that is your cue to absolutely queue up, get in here and, say what you have to say. So we're going to bring in, our, first victim and, or, complainer and, or panicker and, or maybe just a person that's delusional and really excited about the rest of the season. Connor Rush. What do you have for us tonight?
God, I guess disappointed to what you would say earlier. Just, I feel like there's a million reasons why that game went wrong. And at the same time, it's like, you could be as bad as you were defensively, but like just turn the ball over 3 times less or make fucking 2 more free throws or James Breeding, fucking Osama bin Laden ass terrorists, like just call things the way they should be called. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed. I'm working through my feelings right now. I just the game was right there the whole time, and all right. Harley Mania, sorry, you can talk. I'm just
it's fine.
A little disappointed right now.
Yeah, the wild thing about it is, as bad as they had played, and as much as the first half of the game was played on St. John's terms, like the game's tied at the half, and as bad as UConn is struggling in the second half, it's a 1-point game with 5 minutes to go. Like it's
they played a terrible game, and they were like at certain points like betting them over too. Like they were so good. It was like, oh wow, like we went on like a random, 8-0 run out of nowhere, and you still lose a game after that. Like I sound mad, and I am really mad right now. I'm not gonna lie, but like these are college kids. It's fine. It's whatever. I just like this was a winnable game, and this is the first time that this specific squad of guys have lost a winnable game like that. I think that last year was a weird situation where there's some talent, and then we lost some games they could have won, and then they just got written off forever, so it's fine. But if you look at like the two championship teams, it's like this is a I don't know, like it's a similar level though. Like we're there again, and they would have figured it out a little bit. And it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world if they didn't figure it out. Like if you were ever gonna lose a game in this Big East, I know we all love the statistic about them, the percentage of them going 20-0, which I love. I'm not trying to whatever, but if you were to drop one of those, this is the game. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Like they're still going to be in the top 10 AP. It's so fine. It's so fine. It's technically an away game, which I know we all love to joke about Soar South. Not joke, like it's true. Soar South is true, but it's at the same time, like this is an away game. It's fine. It's so aggressively fine. But why am I freaking out? I don't know. I'm freaking out. That's all I'm going to say. All right.
Con, I really like that you've talked yourself through the couple stages of grief. You picked yourself back up. You did place yourself back on the bench. You went back into a death spiral, and now you're back. It's okay. That's normal. That is a good thing to do.
Out. I know, but
like I tell everybody, we're less of a show and more sometimes a therapy couch. So, you just get whatever you got to get off your chest.
This was a therapy thing, so I appreciate you. But
just get it out there. It's good to get in front of the public sometimes with our insecurities, and we launder it out. We get it out there. We wring out the towel, and we go there. The one thing I will say tonight, probably, man, I know you're probably going to want to talk about this a little bit. Just talking about the officiating. Yes, the officiating was dog shit tonight.
James Reading needs to actually die. That was
fucking foul too much.
At the same time, it's we did. There were some of those fouls were just okay, you stupid. Can't do that. You can't do that 30 feet from outside of a basket. You can't. That's not a fucking officiating foul error. That's right. You being a dumbass 35 out from the basket. You can't do that.
The thing with Dan Hurley's teams, and this goes back to, pretty much every team we've had here with Dan Hurley, we just foul a lot. That's part of, he's a very good defensive coach. We play very physically. We play the advantage, and we foul a lot. We have always fouled a lot, in Dan Hurley's offense. The way that it is run is designed to get you open, not defended, looks, so we don't get fouled a lot. Part of the problem is that I would say the last 2 years is what kind of makes it different from 23, certainly 24. Is the 24 team you had Newton, you had Cam, you had Steph Castle. Those guys were all dribble drive threats who like to kind of just cruise into the paint. And especially Cam would just drag guys in on his ass, and find ways to get, fouled, hitting little mid-rangers and everything. Very smart, high IQ basketball guys. It's very hard to get a fringe Big Ten, all conference guy out of the portal, then the guy that is going to be the NBA Rookie of the Year, and then Tristan Newton plus size with a generational center to throw the basketball to, and then Alex Caravan was the worst player in his starting five. And that is a hard thing to do.
I mean,
So
yes,
like
I
that
love
team,
you, and I know that's why I'm
that
like,
team was
yeah.
hard. That team was very good at it, like getting fouled. The 23 team a little bit better. And we have individuals that can do it, but like by and large, like again, the idea of the offense is running guys off screens, off ball movement, setting screens, getting guys open, hitting open looks, right? Not hitting a lot of shots in traffic and getting nailed and all that shit. So, part of the deficit this team has had all year is like two things can be true at the same time, right? Like you're going to go out there and you're going to have some games where the officiating's bad and it looks probably worse than it is because we just don't get fouled a lot. So you're going to see some steep discrepancies, which, look, to be honest with you, to go deep into March is going to be problematic. And then when the team collectively hasn't been great at hitting free throws, that takes a problem and exacerbates it. And that's why I was talking about this earlier where, that's kind of a big issue with this team as we're heading into the tournament. Like St. John's had how many fucking points from the charity stripe tonight? 22?
A lot. I'll tell you,
22
it's a
points from
lot.
the free throw line. Like we had five. So like, that's going to be a huge issue come later in the tournament. Like maybe I guess I take kind of the opposite stance from other people. Like I'm not as worried about the first two rounds, but like, we've got like all of the hallmarks. And I said this about St. John's last year when you dove deeper into their metrics where you're like, man, that is an overseeded team that is going to get zapped by like an athletic team that just has a really good offensive night, which happened, right? We are all the characteristics of like a 1-2 seed that has a bad night on a Sweet 16 and an Elite 8 that maybe gets bounced a round or two earlier than they should. And that's one of those things, right? So like that's a piece. Now there's just some other things that they can do, I think, in the margins to kind of help themselves out with that. Like the rebounding's got to be a little bit better. The turnovers have got to come down. That's a big issue. Like part of what we do is part of where our success was in 23 and 24 was creating extra possessions. It wasn't just dragging teams late into a shot clock. It was dragging them late into a shot clock and maybe we make them, maybe we miss the ball and then we get the rebound and then we run it again. And so instead of like 30 seconds up the floor, you're playing defense for 90 seconds. You know what I mean? And, that's what those two teams are really good at. This team isn't as good at that. So that what they're going to need is guys. I think what we saw with Xavier, kind of what we saw with Creighton, getting after it a little bit earlier in the shot clock. Like I feel like sometimes this team becomes a slave to the offensive system. And instead of like picking their spots and taking the wide open looks that they're getting, they're like trying to just sort of principally like play out the offense as it quote unquote should probably look like going deeper into the shot clock, right? And creating
That's
those.
very true.
Whereas,
there were definitely a couple like possessions this game where
probably 12.
like
tonight.
they ran the whole thing and then it was like one or two too many passes. They were definitely looking for like the extra pass for like a three or maybe someone who is open for a drive in. But I'm like, at some point, someone's got to take a shot.
Yeah, I felt like
That
Alex.
was like the first half. There were like a definitely not crazy, right? Like there were a couple possessions like that where it was like someone just got to do something.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's Alex gonna step up or I mean Silas definitely did that in the second half, and he's the only reason we even came within like a sniff of actually coming back for real because like he was insane. But like someone's gonna do that in the first half, like that'd be so good.
yeah. I mean, I think there was a ton of. I mean, gosh, how many times did I tweet tonight, Early Mania, watching Silas go to the rack and then like hold up in the paint? Or there was probably 2 or 3 shots where Alex had the wide open 3-point look. Didn't take it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say as much with Braylon. There was a couple, but like, man, there was.
No, I mean, again, the big thing it's very obvious, but like free throws, you got to get to the line more than 11 times. And that was not necessarily their fault. I mean, James Breeding is like a fucking basketball terrorist. Yeah. We all know this. But like, you got to get to the line more than that. And then the turnovers, like, I think that in general in basketball, that's a very easy stat to look at and be like, oh, wow, people just kind of sucked that night. But like, the fucking unforced nature of those, like, guys just getting their pockets picked for no reason. Like, shit like that. Like, you just gotta Let's get cleaned up. Like you can't actually like be the third ranked team in the nation and do shit like that. And they did it today, which is fine. Again, like I sound very mad. Don't put it in the papers that I'm mad. I'm mad, but it's whatever. But like, it's just, if you do shit like that, you can't expect to win every game. And I don't know, today was the day. It just happened. And I still think the scene is very, very good, but you know, they kind of, if we're being honest, they sleptwalked their way through a couple in conference games that were way closer than they should have been. And I'm the same way as you guys. Like, I don't care because like a win is a win. The conference is much more of a dog than people give us credit for. And, it just matters what they want. At the same time, it's like you do that enough times. It's like, yeah, you play a St. John's in a technical away game. Like, your bell's going to get rung at some point. It's fine. Like, I'm listening to myself now. I'm coping a lot.
You are.
I know.
You are. I'm glad you went through this.
We'll be fine.
I do have to move on to the next guy, but I did want you to get this out. I wanted you to bring this.
Yeah.
I do think, look, I'm here to help. That's what we're here to try to do. And I'm glad that we're able to help you out here and get that all.
No, I am. This is legit like the 5 stages of grief.
We do accept all HSAs. We take Venmo.
Health New England, Aetna, Cigna, ITT Hartford, even though that doesn't exist anymore.
We're in a building.
Yeah, I'll take this moment. Martin Russells. You guys
Martin Russells.
Awesome. Let's keep giving these guys money. Anyway, next caller.
All right, thanks a lot, Connor.
Thank you, Connor. It's probably because UConn shot 54% from the field and 47% from three. If you take out the 15 turnovers, UConn made a field goal on 29 of 50 possessions. So losing feels weird, but if you drop kick the basketball 15 times and you can't make a free throw, here we are.
That's what happens. Speaking of drop kicks, clotheslines, headlocks, our good friend Sassy Rat is back with us tonight. Happy Rat, how are you feeling? Happy, sassy, skeptical? Give us kind of your feelings tonight.
Far be it from me to be the ombudsman of this production, but I don't believe that. Easy boy. I don't believe that James Breeding is part of the House of Saud. Thought that was perhaps slanderous. I'm not saying I like the guy. It's
always Riyadh season for Mr. Breeding.
Yeah, I don't think he lives in a mountain cave. That's just what I just think that was a bit.
He may. Poll Big East fans around the conference. And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing about Breeding, I think, specifically that I can't, I just can't do it with Breeding because he's literally the worst thing that's ever happened to college basketball. It's like fighting about Joe West. Right? Like, everybody hates him and he fucks everybody and he ruins everything. And there's some nights where he's going to fuck you and there's other nights where he's going to fuck another guy, and it's just he's trying.
Not necessarily. I just think we could leave like the Mujahideen out of it. Like that's all I was like suggesting.
I am fine calling him a terrorist. I'm fine.
They're different strokes for different folks. That's what.
Diplomatic Rat.
Thank you. Rick Pitino is he's such a bastard, and he's so good. That timeout he called when we got to 16-10. Was sitting there like, oh shit, he's gonna call a timeout, and then he calls it like, and there's a 9-0 run. Like, fuck.
And it's the most extreme comparisons, but like, how long do you think Kim English waits to call that timeout? Maybe now. He might still not have called it.
Might not have known he had the timeout.
Kim is looking at all three of his assistant coaches, including Ryan Gomes, asking, "What do you think? You think we should?" And UConn scored 10 more points during the discussion.
It's every time with Pitino. He just has a knack for calling timeouts at the exact time you don't want him to call them. Every time he does it. The kid that played point guard, quote unquote, for them in the second half, god damn that little rat. Like, shouldn't speak about him that way. That was annoying. Malachi's a problem. I like him. But, dude, he couldn't play. And Ryba's kind of, after that first stint, was much better. Why didn't we play more of the lineup that had both Stewart and Ross in it? Because that lineup was pretty good for a few minutes.
Because offensively, the two of them don't do anything. I mean, Jaden had the circus turnaround fadeaway, which should have never happened.
It was ridiculous.
On an awful possession. And Jalen Stewart had a great tip putback in the second half, I believe it was, but that was it.
And that was his worst game in the Garden in his career.
19 minutes, and they take 3 field goals. Come on.
Is there any concern that they ran the token pressure the whole game, which I didn't think they were going to come out in that token pressure, and I expected them in the second half to actually force it, which they never really did. They're going to do the full court, full-on press when we play them up in Connecticut.
I don't think they will. I don't think that he trusts his roster enough to do that for 40 minutes in a road game. I don't think he's going to. I was a little surprised that it was just token stuff, and UConn was able to. I mean, the inbounds was at 4.5, but they did inbound the ball, and then they immediately backed off on it, which I thought was really interesting. But it was successful. So,
but every time they backed off, I really thought they were going to get more aggressive with that.
Yeah, I
also thought that we have the greatest offensive sets in college basketball, and apparently we've decided we can just run the Mike Leach shallow cross if we're trying to inbound, and that's it. Good. Just throw it in the corner. Hopefully it works. Why don't we have a second play? I don't even need a third. Give me a second play.
Yeah.
Nothing? Martin Rossi can't help us with that?
No, I don't
know if Ted's got an abundant playbook of inbounds plays underneath the kibosses, but I will ask him for sure. He may. You never know. It's a generational Connecticut family business.
I know Martin Rossi hot dogs. My grandfather used to buy them by the case, and I used to have to cut them apart.
Delicious.
Okay. So I know them.
New Britain Bees sell them, and I'm so jealous. I go down there all the time. I'm not even saying that just to say it. I got really mad when I found out Rosel's was down there. And, while we were getting beat 11-0, I crashed out when just fat guy ate the concourse.
The Rosel's are great people. Great Polacks.
They are. Happy Ride, what else you got for us?
It's disappointing to lose to... Oh God, I was going to use some slurs about people from the peninsula. I won't. You already had people cursing on here, and I would never do that.
We've already been through 2.
I would never do that. Disappointing. I thought we can win a title, right? That's. There are concerns that were highlighted today: the turnovers, the free throw shooting, but also we went down 10. In what was a tough environment, came back like it was nothing. Manned up, got a couple stops, a couple steals. But the program right now is at a point where it's never been, really. Where the expectation is kind of like Elite 8, Final 4. And they will probably get to the Sweet 16 without much, consternation. But you gotta clean that stuff up to win deep and to get that chance at Arizona again. Hopefully Arizona and Michigan are on the other side. They play each other. Arizona.
I have a feeling we're going to see one of them on our side of the bracket, and it is likely to be Arizona. So,
which is fine. We'll play them. What have they done in March?
They have not. I think my biggest thing with this team is I think the bad news is all of the things we've been talking about for months. The good news is, there's nobody that you could look at in the top 12 of college basketball, and there's just not something in the mix where you're like, I don't know, right? We're seeing. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable putting Michigan and Arizona in that bona fide national title contender. By the way, Houston is up 20 spots to 8th in KenPom offensively. I told you so.
What?
But yes. Illinois, has a little bit of a spread. First in offense, 19th in defense. We're 28th in offense, 5th in defense. Purdue is 2nd in offense, 26th in defense. Michigan State is 46th in offense, 4th in defense. Like, we're seeing some, like, I don't want to say uncharacteristically bigger spreads, but like some spreads, right? And they've beaten some really good teams up until tonight. Like, they've been a really tough team to beat. Like, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think it's wide open this year. And like Arizona, we're going to find out a lot about. I don't want to undersell them, but like their last top 25 game was against Alabama. No, I lie. They had the BYU game, which they almost blew, by the way, but like, I don't want to get into the Arizona thing too much, but they've had a softer schedule than we have. Since the Alabama game. 260, 43, 219, 208, 123, 90, 53, 72, 45, 64, 62. The BYU game. And then Arizona State.
Yeah, so
Kansas.
They're gonna beat the crap out of Oklahoma State later.
Hey, Oklahoma State played well against BYU.
Their next 4 games for Arizona are at Kansas, home for Texas Tech, home for BYU, at Houston. Then they're at Baylor, who stinks. Then they're home for Kansas. Then they're home for Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, business is going to pick up for them.
They're one of the greatest teams in history. It's just,
I'm going to shut the fuck up, and we may all have to accept that ticket, which they will surely fail.
They will fail at Arizona. They will blow it. They will lose early. And is there every team in the country with our coaching staff in that tight turnaround? Who are you really worried that we're going to have a better game plan than anyone, and we have flaws, but we can game plan around them. Nobody wants to deal with this team of dogs in the tournament. It's like, if you take yourself or all of us out of the UConn view, you look at it like from the side, it has to be miserable to be like, oh shit, UConn's in the path. Oh shit, they win with Kevin Ollie as coach, with Shabazz and Boatwright. Like, what the hell are we supposed to do? That's got to be a mental weight on the other team. Well, we got assistants making $2 million a year to scout them. I'll take that.
I'm going to be fine getting into the tournament because we're a really hard team to scout in a tournament. And we're not going to have to deal with the officiating that we do in the tournament. I tell everybody to kind of come back to that. But like, I think, Michigan and Arizona have set themselves apart in the metric. I'm still not buying the Duke thing yet. Although I might soon. But like Iowa State, every team, I mean, this is a wide open year. I think more so than other years. Like I just look at everybody in that top 20 and like, dude,
how stupid does it sound?
There's a huge case for everybody where you can be like, some to a lesser degree than other, but like mostly a case where you can be like, yeah, dude, man, I don't know. I also am going to go out there on a limb, and I could see this tournament being a fucking fucked up tournament because there's like teams in the 20s that are kind of like glass cannons. You've got Texas Tech, Alabama, like NC State. St. Louis is like super feast and famine, like Arkansas, Auburn, Villanova, like a lot of teams kind of down through those 30s where you're like, man, they're not very good, but like on a given night when they decide to like just stroke out and go nuts, I just feel like there's a lot more parity this year. And, I mean, look at the number of fucking
is it very dumb to say Michigan is too big? I don't believe in them because they're too big.
They are kind of boomer busts, though. They have been.
They have their nights, man. I think the team that I do not want to see in the tournament for us specifically, the two would be Houston and Michigan. I do not. And I'm going to be honest, man. I am not excited about the prospect of a rematch with Florida. Those are just because they've seen us twice in the last calendar year. And their guards, man, they're up to 14th in offensive efficiency. They're scratching around. tough. I'm so glad they embarrassed Alabama the other day. Thank you, Florida. But like that, I'm not scared by Illinois at all. I'm really not that scared of Iowa State. I think Duke's close, but I think we could beat Duke.
And if you're in a close game with
Duke
Duke,
would be
look at their coach. He had Cooper Flagg. He would fumble the ball out of bounds every time they're in a close game. I'm not worried about Duke at all.
I think we'd crank Michigan State, and also Purdue would be a really weird matchup this year. I actually think that those are two teams that would just do a lot to blow each other's own foot off. I would actually be very intrigued to see Purdue and UConn in 2026. Very yin and yang matchup. But like, I feel good about a lot of the top 10. But the two I definitely think like, Houston plays so fucking hard defensively and they're so physical. Like that's a team I just don't want. And they're starting to figure it out offensively. They're big.
Delvin Sampson is the most underrated coach maybe in college basketball history.
20-2 now. So like people need to start. Everybody can kiss my ass on the Houston thing. I told you so. At Michigan, I just hate the matchup there. I'm not a Elliot Cadeau fan, but like the rest of their shit's weird. Like Dusty is a little bit of a blob merchant. Like loves blob sets. Like, but man, when you've got an NBA guy, two huge fucking centers and God knows whatever, you can run a lot of blob action and it's going to work. But that's where it's at. Happy, appreciate it, man. I just want to keep.
No, they're too big. It's fine. You like the jellyfish that coaches Michigan with his monsters and his ents. That's fine. We'll chop down the ents.
I'm glad it's okay.
The story will be different this time. Isengard will rise.
All right. Passive rat tonight. Passive rat. Lot less combative tonight. It's the way I like you. I like you a little bit more pacified.
Manchego, baby.
There you go. Zach, man, what do you got for us, brother?
He's defending the honor of the brave Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan. Zach, good evening. How you doing?
Oh, hanging in there, guys. Apologies if you guys already covered this stuff. I was in the Uber ride from hell.
No, this is all about redundancy. Anytime we get past midnight, it's time to repeat ourselves. We're totally cool with it.
All good. No, like, what's the answer with Mally? Like, I got nothing. Like, I don't know what the strategy is there.
Harley Mania, what's your?
I don't know.
What's your coaching cap on?
It's a really good question, Zach.
Imagine Hurley Mania was your coach, by the way, but Hurley Mania puts a coaching cap on. What are we doing?
Very similar to Mike Sullivan.
Yeah, oh God. Well, like Mike Sullivan, if you give him bad players, he's not going to be a very good coach. I'd oddly like to see Mally play with some more first team guys. I know that sounds nuts, but this is. I just think that they're changing too much when they go to the bench. Like Dan goes full like 3 or 4 guys at once, and it's just you're pulling out stuff that works to put in stuff that you hope that works. And we've got too long of a history between Jaden and Jalen and Mally that maybe in a best case scenario, 2 of them are giving you a positive that night. One of them is going to just be anonymous at most, at least. If all 3 of them are anonymous, you get the 15 minutes to 5 minutes of the first half that we got tonight, where the game just goes from UConn being in control to St. John's taking over, and then UConn has to fight back once they get the starters in down the stretch after Terrace sat a little bit with the fouls. Yeah, I don't. He's sped up, and I don't know why. Like St. John's tonight, the pressure wasn't that intense, especially by Rick Pitino standards, and it just it looks like they aren't running the offense. I don't know if it's. He's a really bright kid. It's not like he can't grasp this, but this shit is complicated. Dan had talked in the preseason about wanting to make things a little less rigid and be a little more, off the cuff. I mean, I don't know if this is the way you want to go about doing that, but it looks like that might be the case. They can't get the pick and roll game at all. Like he gets in there with Eric Riba, and like Eric Riba is going to get good at that, and he's getting better. But like Terrace doesn't roll in pick and rolls. He doesn't roll. If you watch, he sets a screen and he goes, oh wait, oh now I got to roll, and it's the moment is gone. That's if he isn't setting a screen that basically looks like a moving screen, and I'm completely terrified to see what a Big 12 ref calls in March on that. By the way, So yeah, it's not the pick and roll game. I'm not sure, but they've got to get him, Zach, to a point where he can play 10 minutes a game and just be fine. He doesn't have to be as good as he was against Illinois. I mean, that'd be great, but he can't be tonight, where in 4 minutes he was minus 12.
Yeah, it was as soon as he went in, like, flipped a switch. It just got bad.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Hurley Mania in this. I would try to mix him in with Solo and Silas. I know it sounds crazy because you want him to spell Silas.
Him and Silas looked great the other night against a bad team, to be fair. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like you got to have him on the court with somebody that can be a secondary ball handler and facilitator, because I feel like defenses just fixate on him when he's on the court. And he's got to have sort of bailout option.
Sorry to cut you off.
I can't believe I'm saying, like, play Mally off the ball. But
I was just going to say, like, if he's not handling the ball, like, what?
That becomes the next question. They ran a lot of Solo last year at point when things got really shitty. It wasn't great, but at least there's history. I'd like to know if Braylon can at least initiate the offense. I think he probably can. He's a really good passer.
They do run. They do Braylon does initiate kind of in a Cam way. Yeah. I've noticed, like, they'll inbound him and let him bring it up and let him start shit at least.
Yeah, and if I give a mild defense of Mally, who wasn't great tonight, well, you put him in, and then it's with Jaden and Jalen. So, and then Eric Ryba comes in. So I'm like, well, who's the offensive player we're supposed to focus on here? If you're him, like, you know, he's only as good as the weapons he's got in some regard there. Like, I mean, if Silas is in that situation, Silas is just taking the ball to the hoop because he knows I'm not passing to these guys. Like, they can give me a little bit, but we're 24 games in and we're still talking about Jalen and Jaden being more aggressive offensively. Like, I mean, you know, it's February 7th. Like, at a certain point, the cake's baked and you just appreciate the D that you get and you enjoy the nights when you also get the 3. But tonight it was some of the D and none of the 3.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. I just feel like they've got to give him, a release valve. You know, try to find him a guy that he can go to, like, because teams like to double him, they like to pressure him, like, make them pay for committing the extra guy or pressuring him early. Or the other thing with Mally is, like, if Mally, I don't know, this is a little risky, but I am totally free jamming right now, so fucking shit on me if you think this is a terrible idea. Maybe they just need to get more up and down with him.
Yeah.
Like, if Mally's, like, speed is play like a chicken with your head cut off, and you can get teams up and down. And, this is such a stupid idea, but I just want to fucking get people's reactions to it. But you get some of the better athletes on the team, maybe get Solo out there.
Jaden.
That's what I was going to say. If you ran like Mally and Jaden and you said, you know what, give me 2.5 minutes of crackhead basketball and, like, let's get up and down and, like, this is fucked up. This is not what we do. But, like, you got some games, like, I would fuck with it for 4 or 5 minutes and see what I'd fuck with it for a lot of minutes in practice to see what it looked like before I would throw it out of the floor. I'm getting really finger paints. I'm getting really paced right now. But, like, there's a part of me that sometimes, like, if the dog wants off the fucking leash that bad, I mean, what's the worst he's going to do? Bite a fucking small child?
Mally or the dog? So
like, maybe we just get him up and down more if he wants to play fucking nuts for 3 minutes. Let's go play nuts. Like, I know this is really fucking stupid workshopping here, but Like, I am trying to think. I am trying to brainstorm in my pea brain, some ways that, maybe sometimes you stop fighting what the player is, what the player, you want the player to be instead of like accepting what the player is.
Well,
and maybe they have some other guys
of us talking about the lineup changes. Like, I get why the starting lineup.
I'm so not serious about this, people, but I'm workshopping
and
here.
If I may defend this completely insane idea of yours, well, they're turning the ball over when he's in there trying this. So the worst thing you can do is the exact same thing he's already doing. Let's try another thing. It's crazy, but I'm down for something crazy, especially in the Big East when they're going to be playing a lot of these. But like against Georgetown, we can't try that. Really? Yeah. At Campbell against Georgetown on Valentine's Day, I think we could probably get away with trying it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would totally, like, if it's Butler, Georgetown, Creighton, Marquette, like, let's get weird, man. Let's try to get up and, I mean, Dan's talked about, like, trying to get up and down a little bit more in transition. Maybe if Mally can't run the offense in the half court, then maybe Mally can run the offense in transition and be the guy that's just like, you know what? Stop thinking. Run with the wind. Run with the wind. And if you kick a couple balls off the scorer's table, like whatever, they got to try something to like just try to get him into something resembling a comfort zone. I don't fucking know what that is, but I'm trying.
Yeah, because if it's not that, it's who else do you want to be the quote point guard? Do you want to have solo run plays? Do you want Braylon run plays?
Yeah.
If not, then what? We're just going to keep trying this.
Yeah.
Probably going to look great Wednesday against Butler, but
it's really fucked up to be like having science experiments in February, but like, I don't know, man, maybe you just kind of got to run with it. I don't know.
All right. We'll figure it out. All right, boys. Have a good night.
Thank you, Zach. Brian White, you're up next. Before you go, my friend, I just have to read a quick word from our sponsor, folks. If you want to talk about a Connecticut business, nothing comes close to Martin Roll Souls since 1928. Martin Roll Souls has been feeding cranky Huskies fans all over Connecticut and beyond. Hot dogs, sausages, kielbasa's, and deli meats. They have everything we need to keep jerks like Carly Mania fed, quiet, and if they didn't threaten to pull their sponsorship over it, even a place to frankly just leave them. But I promise we wouldn't do that to them again. That's Martin Roll Souls at 45 Grove Street in New Britain, the official sponsor of the Connecticut Basketball Spaces Wienerline. Brian, tee it high, let it fly. What do you got for us, brother?
I just want to say, I've heard all year that St. John's biggest weakness this year was their point guard. Did Connecticut try to take advantage of that or no? I didn't see the game, so I'm wondering. Did Connecticut try to take advantage of St. John's not having a good point guard?
Did they try?
I mean, did they?
Did they try? Yes. Their point guard, Connecticut's point guard had 18 points tonight.
All right. So is St. John's point guard good or no?
No.
Okay.
Had a nice game. I mean, Dylan Darling, very nice showing for the Big Sky Conference tonight. Ian Jackson.
Did you hear what Tino said about him?
Ozias Sellers, not as much, but like, look, Dylan Mitchell, Subi Ejiofor, Bryce Hopkins.
Yeah.
Have very good games. They're awesome. Bryce Hopkins jumped over a quarter or a stack of quarters for the first time all season. So good for him. He had a great night tonight. They're great. Out toughed everybody. I thought they played a great game. They got the game of their lives from like, three guys that, are not great. But look, if I was Rick, I would play away from them too. And playing Dylan Mitchell is like a point forward. Brilliant move, man. You absolutely should. Mitchell's awesome. I no problem.
Yeah, he's really good. He's changed.
I am not going to take like a the game where the guys that like we hoped would be good that have been mostly dog shit for the season have a good night, and now all of a sudden it's justified. I'm not going to get carried away with that. Was that fair?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you thought St. John's point guard played good. The reason I was saying because I've heard the whole year that's their biggest weakness is St. John's point guard. Did he play good tonight?
Well, they've been pretty bad all season, haven't they?
No, I was saying, did he play well tonight?
Yeah, but if they, if a team or a player has a good game in one night and he has like 60 games of playing shitty, does that make him good?
I'm asking about tonight. I don't get why you're getting defensive. I'm just saying, did he play? I actually didn't see the game.
Like, is Aaron Boone a good baseball player?
I'm not being defensive. I'm saying, did he play well tonight? I didn't see the game.
It played less terrible than he has played in the past.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I was asking. Thank you.
Okay. Enjoy the Tinker Toys.
What's the Tinker? Wait, what's the Tinker Toys? What was that? What does that mean?
You know what Tinker Toys are?
So you could.
So you take the.
That's obviously you're trying to make a comment. Tell me what that comment is. No.
They got you
know what Tinker Toys are? What does that mean?
Tinker Toys. So Tinker Toys, they were like a. Well, they're actually. I'm probably old. Am I showing my age here, Hurley Man?
No, I have.
No,
Tinker Toys were like.
You're actually annoyed right now. You're actually
annoyed. Wood, and they were for guys that were a little slow sometimes. So they'd take the little circle thing and they'd stick a little wooden stick in the little hole, and you could make sculptures with them.
But you wouldn't.
And like sometimes you could play a lot of pretend with them. So you could be like, ooh, like this is a really sturdy structure when it like wasn't a sturdy structure. Yeah. And like, I'm glad for you guys. You guys won the basketball game tonight. We spent 45 minutes.
I'm not a St. John. I'm actually a Marist.
Yeah, 2 more against us.
Marist fan. I'm actually a Marist fan. I actually don't give a shit about St. John's. That wasn't my point. My point was that St. John's. I'm a Marist fan, 100%. I am 100%.
Won 4 in a
row. It's Yankee Mac.
Yankee
Mac. Look at my name. Yankee Mac. That's my point, though. My point is like, I was literally trying to ask you guys. I wasn't trying to be like trolling. I'm just asking. The one weakness St. John's has is their point guard. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's all I was asking. Did he play well tonight?
Marginally well tonight, yes. Less worse than they've played in the past, yes.
Well, why do you have to do the less worse thing? Did he play well?
Because they weren't fantastic tonight. Like, you can't just take a player that like went 4 for 4 in the one game of his life. Like the guy would hit a go-ahead home run in the World Series this year that hadn't hit a hit in a month.
Yeah.
Who cares? I'm just not that shooken up about it. Like, I've seen it so many times. I know people in the Hudson Valley are like really new, unless they're a UConn fan, to winning basketball games. But like, it's
that
was
not anything like, obnoxious.
Is it supposed to get on my skin? Like, what's the point of the question?
Why do you say the Hudson Valley thing?
Well, because that's where the river flows that goes down to New York City and has a lot of teams that share the same conference with New York, with UConn that don't win a lot of basketball games.
But you need to like point that out.
Probably would have lack of familiarity with it.
I can't believe they're going to rename the MAC. I'm so mad about this. I'm so pissed off.
They should call it the Hudson Valley Conference, no?
Call it the Metro.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't call it the Metro because you got Niagara there.
Can I ask? Do we all like John John? I love John John.
He's fine. He underachieves though. Like that's my issue with him. I mean, I was at the Quinnipiac Marist game, the end of December, and just a disappointing loss. I just don't believe in John Dunn ever getting it over the hump at Marist. I just don't until I see he does it.
But why did he do it at St. Peter's? He was able to do it at St. Peter's, which is like a computer school.
Ed Cooley, as was the first hint that he wasn't actually that good of a coach, completely fumbled away an easy MAC title at Fairfield when the thing was in Bridgeport. And so instead he got to go against Tim Cluse, who was a very bad coach until the last 5 years of his career. It was an all-time job. I was in the building the night John Dunn won that. I was in the building when that happened.
Did you say that Colorado State has one of our best guards from last year and that he's doing very well?
Yeah, it's life is a MAC school. Life is a MAC school now.
Yeah, we're fine with that, but Marist. All right, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to stop it. I think Marist is a threat this year. That's all I'm going to say, and I'll stop now.
I hope so. One of my closest friends is a Marist alum. I sent him the link.
Love Rick Spitz.
I went to all his games when I was 12. I'm 50 now, but I went to all his games.
I'm a big
second pick by the Indiana Pacers.
I like Rick Smith. I like Rick Smith almost as much as I like Reggie Miller.
Oh, you're just getting a rise out.
That's just you're just doing that on purpose.
Now everybody's just poking each other in the belly right now.
All right, I'll stop.
All good. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We have Klingon's ball screen, ball sack thingamajobber. I don't know what your screen name is, but I think you're in the queue. I don't know if you're in the queue, but we don't know on Elon's stupid fucking website on the desktop until you actually fucking talk. So if you're there, great. If not, request on up, and then maybe we'll let you speak. But if you're there, fire away. 5, 4, 3, 2. Fuck, I hate this website.
Perfectly designed. Magnificent.
He was there and then he wasn't there. I had it all set up. I had a fight with a fucking Marist fan tonight.
Let's go Marist.
Fucking Foxes. It's actually my favorite college baseball program in the Northeast. One of them, low key, really good.
Really?
I had some studs out of there, man. They're weird. They make the whole team like take pictures in like suits and ties, and nobody else in baseball does that.
They're not the ones that push the cage around the block. Is that Lowell?
No, that's UMass Lowell. They're in the America East Conference. Nick Barisi, shout out, fighting Nick Barisi's up in Lowell. But yeah, they have to push their turtle all the way from a parking garage down the street from the parking garage around the main drag of the stadium and inside of the stadium, and then yes, that's where the Spinners used to play.
That's wild.
I figure it would have been a lot better.
Wow.
All right. Well, we got Postradamus coming in now. Sure, this will be very sober. Posty, what do you got for us?
Speaking of therapy, here we go.
No, I'm straight. I guess the one thing, and we keep kind of going with the substitutions and stuff, and I think Dan in the post game talked about how we were up 16-10, and then he thought like, I guess the bench was over their head more or less. But what I've noticed, and I've kind of made a joke about in the group chat, is it's not the substitution, but it's like, I call it like the youth basketball sub, where like, it's like 14:30 left in the first, and it's like, all right, we got to get these 3 or 4 guys coming in, and it just kills momentum. I think we've probably given up 3 to 5 leads on that, where it's like, all right, Terrace gets an and 1, we're up 1. It's like, all right, Ryba's already coming in, like with Nally. And at that time, like, Rick keeps Zuby in Michelin, and I just don't know if, like, we're so set to, like, these rotations, and maybe that's something, like, they got to play with going forward, because...
What are you trying to say? Like, they're predictable?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's crazy. But I'll say this. Like, I thought Rick, this is going to sound nuts. This is going to sound like copium on Max. I thought Rick was a little hit and miss tonight. I think he kind of got away with murder on a couple calls. He had Dylan Darling queued up like 2 minutes into the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be running Dylan Darling out there 2 minutes into the second half. Like, he had some kind of bizarre rotations, but like, look, man, I mean, at the end of the day, fucking, if Dylan Darling's gonna have a great night and we're not gonna stop him getting downhill, like, I know he has been, sort of a special basketball player this year, but like, if he's gonna be effective, roll him.
Yeah, no, and like, I'm totally for like not burning the guys out. I mean, that's something that we saw last year. I mean, basically like Solo, Liam, and Alex had to play like 35, 36 minutes a game. So obviously that's not ideal, and I think it's from an offensive standpoint, but like some of it too is like momentum. Like, I feel like it just kills the momentum when it's just almost like you're auto sitting a guy, because we feel like at that point, like, this is something you need to do. I don't know.
My counter would be, would you like Silas to have played all 40 minutes?
No, I don't think it's even that. I think it's just they got to figure out, I think, the combination of bringing them in. Like, do we really need Mally, Ryba?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like,
and that's what it is. It's not even just a Silas thing. I feel like it's, all right, Mally's always in with Ryba, and we're gonna throw in one of the J's, and then like it's kind of going from there. But it's always, I feel like it's always like the same time that they're doing that.
And I like Eric Ryba a lot, but you're Malachi Smith. You're like a 5th-year senior. Hey, we're going to throw in this 19-year-old German as your center. Terrace has had a really good start to the game. Yeah, we're going to take him out. We're going to still give you this 19-year-old. Yeah, have fun. Go figure it out. I mean,
and that was the thing. It wasn't like feel like it was matchup dependent because I think at that point when they pulled him, like Mitchell and Terrace are there, and that's just. I mean, Mitchell and Zuby were still in, and that's lunch city. Like if you think about it.
Yeah, the two most common groups UConn's run, they've run 533 possessions with Silas and Terrace, and the second is they've run 313 with Malachi and Eric. Malachi has run about 80 more possessions with Eric at center than Terrace at center. He has run, oh God. His third most common center is Dwayne Chroma. I guess it has to be, but like that just made me laugh. Sorry. Yeah, I just, and it's wild to say that given he was bad tonight, but I'm just trying to look for a lane here with Malachi because I know he's not as bad as tonight. Like he needs something to be in a position to succeed here a little bit. And if it's give Silas a little earlier blow because you're going to need him late and let Malachi get a minute or two with Terrace before you bring in Eric, or if Eric's minutes are going to increase and just in general he's on the floor more with Silas, I'm just talking myself in the corners here.
Yeah, because a lot of times we've seen it or sometimes it's been Mally, Solo, Ryba, and the two, and Jalen, and that's just, yeah. And like maybe at that point, I think someone suggested it, but like, do you then have Solo try to initiate stuff with his ability to like get into the lane or whatever? But I just think that like, it's not even an offensive thing too. I think like we've seen times where like they bring Mally in the first play, just like he's absolutely just cooked for the drive. So it's just like trying to hide him on both ends is also kind of an issue, I feel.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Sorry, I'm just looking at backcourt combinations to drive myself insane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get like too into like, hey, I think the team needs to be tinkered with a little bit in terms of the rotations. I don't think the tinkering needs to be like dramatic. Like no. I said this earlier, like I think we're way closer. Like, yeah, we need to like stand Andre Jackson 4 feet closer to the basket than we are like, man, we should like really like be looking at our 8th and 9th man to get like more minutes and like shuffling 5 and 6 guys through. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
blow up the starting lineup. Everything's fucking terrible. I'm 22-2. Like we lost the road game in conference. We 1000% probably should lose if there was going to be a game to lose. So like, I don't want to get into that like craziness, but, they need to tweak some things and they need to get like a little smarmier and smarter, about how, they do that, right? Like, I don't, again, I want to be really clear, like, Braylon Mullins is not the problem. Solo's not the problem.
No.
Alex is not the problem. Terrace has things that are problematic, but he's not the problem. Silas is the best player on the team. The issue is like I'd like to see him get a little bit more creative with their rotations. In 23 and 24, like you could kind of do a soft hockey line change where like in 23 you could go get Diarra, you could go get Donovan, et cetera, et cetera. In 24 you could go get Samson, you can go get Hassan, and you had these guys that you could, you can go get Jalen like we do this year. You had guys that you could go and depend on for a certain level of production, particularly defensively. At that point, I just don't think the consistency from the bench, it's certainly been there more often than it hasn't been. But like the consistency from the bench hasn't been there as much. So I don't think that you can do, like, I don't think Dan is like hung up on like, I got to do a lineup change at 14 minutes. But like at 13, 14 minutes, guys, like 99% of college basketball programs are going to start bringing in some subs. That's not Dan, that's everybody. But what they're going to have to start doing is being a little bit more creative. So, for example, like, what I would be looking at is like at 15 minutes, I don't even get into this, like, who's the most locked in or whatever. But, like, at 15 minutes, I'm going to sub in Stewie, and I'm going to take Solo, Braylon, or Alex off the court in that rotation. And then when we get to the under 10, like, whichever one of those guys we took off the court, right, like, I am going to take the other guy off the court. So, like, if Jalen comes in and subs out for Solo and Solo's on the bench, when Solo comes in the U10, I'm taking Braylon off the court. So leaving Alex in. You know what I mean? So, like, you can get a little bit more creative, and then you get a little bit later into the half, you get to the under 8, under 7, whatever. Like, okay, Stewie's got to come off. Well, let's bring Jaden on. And just, I like the idea of, like, not fighting the identity. We've talked about this a lot. Like, what do we want them to be? What are they? Right. And, like, the balance of, like, figuring that out over the course of the season, developing that. How long do you chase it? How long don't you? Right. And I think what that helps to do is max out what you're truly elite at, which is, like, a great defensive team. And I also think it takes the edge off of the rebounding issues that they've had. It gives you another guy, particularly when we're talking about the long boards. Like, tonight, they lost a lot of long rebounds. Like, when Jaden, Stewie aren't on, when they're on the court, we're getting more of those than we're not, so it gives you more rebounding coverage, right? And I just like having the extra beef of those guys setting screens and being able to fire guys like Mullins off, fire guys like Solo off, fire guys like Alex off, and then let them dip into their bag of tricks, man. Like, I feel like Braylon has so many more tools that, like, we're not even touching. And, like, if I was going to accuse the staff of anything, which isn't much, but, like, it's really hard to kind of recreate that 24 situation where you're looking at a guy like, say, Steph Castle, who I think 2 years after the fact, we could all probably sit back and say, there was probably a lot more to that dude's game when we had him that they didn't use because they didn't have to, and it's a special situation, right? But, like, that's not every situation. So, like, how can we get Braylon's dribble drive unlocked, right? Like, how can we get Alex getting to the basket? Like, Solo's great getting downhill, dude.
Very good.
I actually think that, like, I know this is going to sound crazy, and the staff probably hates the math of this, but, like, I would really be more cautious with giving Solo, like, a green light from 3. But, like, dude, you want to hit that mid-range jumper? Like, that's been his shot this year. So, like, stop fighting it. Roll with it. You know what I mean? Like, give him the green light in that situation. And so now, like, you're digging a little bit deeper into a lot of the things that, like, your guys do really well, right? And yeah, they're going to dork Jalen a little bit. They're going to dork Jaden a little bit. But, like, they're there to maximize what you do well. They're there to, like, gain you an extra position. And, like, look, Jaden can hit the occasional 3. Jalen can hit the occasional 3. They can both rebound. They can both dribble drive. Like, they have skills to the point where, like, I don't think you can just sit there and be like, yeah, we're just going to let that guy fucking run around like an asshole. Like, whereas, like, Andre's offensive skill set was, like, so putrid from the outside that you could do that. You can't do that with Jalen and Jaden, right? And so I would like to see more of that. And again, it has nothing to do, like, Braylon's not underwhelming me. Alex is not underwhelming me. Solo's not, more probably of a volume shooter than I thought he was, but, like, it also can kind of come out in the wash. And so I just think they need to get a little bit more creative about how they're doing it. Like, I don't want them to, like, start World War III psychologically with these guys, where they're like, Solo's out of the starting lineup, or, like, I think that's, like, a very vacuous way to, like, look at our rotations, but just get smarter about how we're blending guys in the mix, because I think in the wash, it's all going to come out. And, like, these guys are, we talk about it all the time. Like, this is a great group of kids. Like, they all get it. They want to play for the team almost to a fault. Like, let's just mix up how we're doing things a little bit in those rotations. And I think it's going to put guys like Eric in a little bit of a better situation, right? So, like, when you got a team that's maybe a little bit more undersized, like, now, with, like, a Stewie or a Jaden out there, you can really start to stretch the floor out with, like, Braylon and Alex, right? Like, you can start to get a little bit more creative and start blending guys in. And even with Silas, man, like it gives him secondary ball handlers. Like if we can get Braylon to the rack more, if we can get Solo to kind of be that secondary point guard, I'm totally fine with them running Silas and Mally together as well. Like figure out some things that work, but I think that wing stretch 3/4 spot is the thing that's got to like figure itself out. And the players are there. I think the unselfishness is there. I want to see them tinker with that a little bit more. And it doesn't just look better on the eye test. The math is really starting to bear it out now. This is a very math driven staff. I'm hopeful they're starting to see it. I hope they move more in that general direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm kind of with you on. I feel like we're a little bit closer for a couple tweaks. I think the 3-point shooting has looked like it's coming back around these last 34 games.
Great from three. The last couple of, great from three. I mean, that hasn't been, the shot making's been great. I mean, tonight we were 57 and 51%. 51.9, 52 and 57%, essentially. 54% tonight from the field. It's great.
Yeah, so really good, but that's all I got. Like I said, maybe be a little more intentional with the subs and cut down the turnovers, which is definitely frustrating. The two of them by Silas were one, he was like either talking to one of his teammates or looking at the bench, and Darling just scooped it, which is mind-blowing, but shout out to Darling on that. But yeah, that's all I got.
Darling still stinks.
I enjoyed Rick saying his message to the team was have no fear of failure. Yeah, well, they failed a lot, so they certainly don't seem afraid of it. But tonight they were great, so credit to them.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm a little bummed. I'm bummed. I want to win this. I just think, I just want everybody to keep their head up about this. Like, this is a very stupid thing to get upset about. We are 22-2. The team that has flaws and a field of teams that have maybe more flaws than we do. So like, don't freak out. I think we're in a really good spot, and I'm not too worried about it. I think they just need to make a couple tweaks here and a couple tweaks there. I really don't think we're that far from it. And tonight though, it's just one of those things where like, if you're a big narrative chaser, I certainly am online, like, and you had a very UConn perspective about this game, boy, oh boy, there was a lot of shit to eat tonight. If you're a St. John's fan, everything and its mother that you wanted to be correct was correct, which is the most important thing in life, is being right online, right? And so they got their night, and that sucks because we got to listen to them for another couple weeks. But guess what? We get them back in Hartford, and then we may even get them in the Big East tournament for a third time. So we're going to have probably two cracks at them again. And, hopefully it goes better this time.
Can you, and you never know, because it's tournament week, and the tournament, as much as we love it, doesn't really matter in a way for like the selection committee. I was talking about this before you jumped on with Dave the other night, and I really want to thank him. I enjoyed doing the Eye on the Storm pod with him. Even if we both ate shit on our prediction, it happens. It comes with the territory. We were trying to figure out, like, if it somehow isn't UConn St. John's at the Garden, like the other 5% possibility, 4% of it involves Villanova, and like, who is your other absolute psycho wild card to somehow end up in the Big East title game? And I actually still landed on Providence, which is a testament to how fucked up this league is.
I would say they're the most likely to knock somebody off because they actually have offensive ability. Like, I could see them sparking somebody in the quarterfinals.
Which is nuts when they're going to be the 10 seed.
Yeah. I have a lot, like, I can't see Seton Hall doing that.
Yeah, it's sad. I think that's over.
Yeah, and like Butler's the other one, like, where it's like, man, Butler's like just good enough offensively. They're never going to get embarrassed. And they're never going to get fucking rinsed. They're not good enough to do like big boy shit. The defense just isn't there. not going to be humiliated, but like they are like 7 seed in the Big East tournament, if there ever was one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Like, yeah, I'm probably with you on that.
I know it's crazy. The offense is an elite enough unit that if for 1 week they play top 140 defense for Kim.
Yeah, I mean, like, who's the four? Like, I think UConn, Villanova, and St. John's are actually pretty rock solid semifinalists.
Yes.
Who's the fourth? I'm with you, dude. Like, I think it's Providence.
There's going to be another team on that Friday night at the Garden. Folks, we've got to get one. That's like what I was talking with our old friend Full 40 Chris. He was trying to evaluate how many wins they need. And I said, to get in for Nova, I said, well, the good news for you is they contractually have to pick 36 of you motherfuckers. So like they're going to, we need a fourth team. Who's the fourth man? Hot balls. Man,
it's like the NWO, you know?
I don't
Maybe
know.
It's Syracuse does a run in.
Yeah. Tonight we even had sad Louisville fans who were watching the game and Mallory in the atmosphere. But no, you get to play SMU and Cal, so you're good.
I will say
that was
this.
Me punching down, by the way.
I will say, good. I will say this. I really enjoyed the jealousy of the rest of the country being like, Jesus Christ, dude. We just don't do that anymore. That was an awesome atmosphere tonight. That was Big East basketball tonight. Like for people that want to know what like every game was in the Big East 20 years ago, that was literally every game in 2011. That was every game. Everybody was top 30 and it was brutal and it was crazy and it was insane. And man, they credit the St. John's fans in the lower bowl, credit to the UConn fans in the upper bowl. Everybody was so mean to each other. It's so disrespectful.
Really mean.
And I just want to say to all of you, even though I don't want to admit it, thank you, everybody. Thank you for being disrespectful, for treating each other like shit. This is what this stupid conference is supposed to be about. Even if nobody else can get on our level, I'm okay with it. I don't care. It's a Big East. Deal with it.
Yeah, it was wild tonight just to see what
chaos and animosity is what makes my heart flutter.
It's just nice to see there's something in this league that's got a pulse right now because I don't think Seton Hall's going to get there, and it's unfortunate with the start they had.
That was a tough thing about this version of the Big East now, though. Like, I think with the top of the league, I mean, I'll go back as far as like 2022, like the top 4 to 5 in the league have always been really good, but there's like that. The middle hasn't been good and the bottom's a disgrace, right? And the problem with that, I don't even care about Ken Palm, metrics, tournament rankings. The problem with that, if you're a repulsive, shit-talking degenerate, is that like back in the Big East in the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, like there was no time to fucking take a dump on somebody's face. Like you got it done in 24 hours. And then the next game, it was like dreading that you were going to be the guy whose eyeballs were going to be getting defecated on.
But now, when you're UConn and St. John's and you're playing Butler and Xavier and DePaul and Providence for 3 months.
And we got to listen to this shit for 2 weeks. Like, this is the problem in the league. You know what I mean? Like, whereas back in the day, you know, it was basically like a 65 to 70 day panic attack about just not wanting to be owned, particularly online. It was a lot of anxiety back then.
Yes.
I am fat. I think I'm old. I think my hair's gone white. I mean, maybe you've lost all your hair because of that.
Sure, I'll take that as a reason. I mean, it would explain a lot. Yeah, and now UConn, it's a fight for the Big East title right now because St. John's is now, even with them in the loss column, UConn's played.
They're first.
UConn's still in
first. Have
the
tiebreaker.
UConn's still in first. No, UConn's 12-1. St. John's is 11-1.
Yeah. St.
John's will beat Xavier Monday, and then we'll be in first with the tiebreaker, and then UConn plays Wednesday at Butler, and we'll have played one more game in St. John's, and we go on and on and on, round and round and round. The merry-go-round we go here as both these teams are just waiting until Wednesday, February 25th. UConn certainly has the tougher road between now and then in the fact that they have the road game at Villanova.
Yep.
But other than that, not a lot of meat on the bone. Next resumes Wednesday night with our old friend Jared Thomas out in Indianapolis.
The Butler, Jared Thomases.
And one other league note, I just want to touch on this. Just the Josh Dix thing at Creighton's awful. Just completely terrible. Just, so sad for that.
Shout out to him. I can't believe he played that game, man. What?
For that team going
good for
nowhere.
Him. What are you thinking and everything and everywhere in between? Like, what are you going to tell a kid to think, do, and otherwise?
And I bring it up too because we played the game there last Saturday, and it was the cancer awareness game.
Yeah.
Right. And his mom dies from breast cancer just 4 days later. It's just awful. Just really, 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 really terrible. And it gives you perspective on stuff like tonight for UConn, right? But also stuff like, Creighton's having a terrible year. Yeah, well, I mean, who gives a shit, right? Like in kind of the grand scheme of things. So that was just brutal news across the league. It felt weird not to touch on it. But yeah, it's just awful news for Creighton and for Josh Dix and that whole family. So thoughts out to them. So, yep, the league will be in action tomorrow. Nova's at Georgetown at noon. That crowd could be hundreds of people. Seton Hall's at Creighton. That should be incredibly emotional at 6:00. I'm sure that crowd will be really something. I don't know if Josh Dix is going to play. God bless him, whatever he decides to do. Butler's at Marquette in an absolutely vile game at 2 p.m. If you thought that was vile, wait until this. DePaul at Providence at 4.
Ugh. Can our beloved Mons get a big road win?
First to 160 wins. We'll see. But yeah, that's the league. UConn now. UConn actually has the longest off stretch in the league now. This is kind of a little bit like a second bye week. Not really, in that they're off for 5 days now. I don't think what went wrong tonight is we need 5 days to fix stuff we've known. But all they can do is try and put it together at 22-2 and 12-1 in the Big East. The undefeated dream is dead, hot balls. Long live the undefeated dream.
The undefeated dream was there. It is not there anymore. And, oh my God, there's 2 whole red stripes on Ken Palm. That makes me so upset.
Almost 3 months.
There's 2.
Losses.
Can you believe there's 2 red stripes?
It's awful.
Of all those games, how dare they?
They almost went 3 months between losses. And it's also
how would we ever recover?
Part of this too is the other loss. Everyone was so legitimately happy and proud of the team because of the circumstances. So tonight was in many ways their first loss.
Yeah. Tonight sucked because
it's who it is.
A lot of things.
It's the most annoying game to lose.
It's St. John's that they of all their players that have fucking sucked donkey dick all year, they finally had a good night. And it was in Madison Square Garden, and their fan base is fucking slow to say the least, and new to college basketball in the last 2 years. So we got to listen to them for the next 2 weeks. And, everything, like I said, everything, if you were a UConn fan from a narrative standpoint, that actually absolutely is true, did not happen tonight. And everything, if you were a St. John's fan, who was dumb and, was wish casting everything to happen, went your way tonight. So congratulations for St. John's on their big night. I hope it was great. I am not that upset about it. We have another stab at them. I hope, we slap them around like a baby seal. And then the Big East championship game is going to fucking rule after, a terrible season in the league. I think that is going to be must-see shit. So I better get on it and buy my tickets now.
All the league's fans are owed it for tonight. They were owed it.
Wait until it's Providence and Seton Hall in the championship game. By the way, we both fucking eat shit in the semifinals. It's what we deserve.
If they play a third time, if UConn wins the return match in Hartford and they play a third at MSG, they just actual live grenades just thrown onto the court at any moment during play.
It's going to be so great.
Bring what you can swing. It's going to be 1986.
Yeah, bring your own weapons side to the Madison Square Garden if it's a Big East championship. That's actually what it should be.
They should do the Royal Rumble sound effect every time a substitution is made.
Oh, yes, dude. I feel like we could have a diplomatic parlay with St. John's fans, and they would be totally cool with us. It'd be kind of like that scene from Gangs of New York. Remember, they're like, okay, you can bring bats, sticks, knives, No guns, hand grenades, explosives are cool. Don't hit anybody below the belt.
The thing about the St. John's, like back and forth online and the intensity, you can really feel that beneath all of it, there's an understanding. It's like, at least you guys are trying. Like, there's like this wouldn't be so vitriolic if either of us had friggin' anybody else to engage with.
Yeah. No, well, this is the thing. We don't have anything else to do. That's
there
the
was
thing.
Anybody else.
And
this wouldn't be so
and when we crank them in Hartford, it's going to be another lonely 2 weeks. And we're all going to be staring at each other like, what the fuck are we supposed to do now?
And then we're going to do it a third time 2 weeks later. And then we're supposed to just not do anything for 7 months with our lives.
Yeah. And 15 years ago, like, this is just, it's one panic attack after another is what it used to be. There's part of me that is happy that's not the case anymore. But that's the thing that sucks about the new version of the Big East. There's only going to be like 4 or 5 really good teams. And back then there was like 10 good teams. Like, if you lost like 6 games in conference, you're like, whoa, look how big my dick is, bro. That was a thing back then.
The 2009 UConn team goes 15-3 in the league, and it feels like going 20-0.
Yeah.
15-3 in that league is absurd.
Yeah.
And if we go 19,
what was 2011? 2011 was a disgrace.
Oh, 2011, UConn went 9-9.
Yeah. Folks, you think this sucks, boy. Boy, do I have fucking news for you.
That team worked it out, though.
And we won the national championship. 9-9.
Yeah,
Big East team.
It's
the Pollitt's still on the table for you.
Things change, man. But it changed tonight for UConn, 22-2, 12-1 in the league. Yeah, if they go 19-1 this year, I'll actually find it less impressive than going 9-9 in 2011. But let's find out, huh? Let's find out. And it's on next to Wednesday night against the Butler Bulldogs out in Indianapolis. That is a 7:30 tip on TNT. UConn's next 5 games are not on a Fox network, so you won't get Donnie Marshall.
You're not going to get what you want.
You won't get
post all of your sad Jared Thomas pictures, by the way, if you have them. Everybody's got one.
I've got a great one. We won't get Gus and Jim Jackson. I love Jim Jackson. Gus is Gus. We won't get Tim Brando, thank God. But yeah, so we're in this weird stretch now where UConn gets to see more of the new TV contract. A lot of Turner, a lot of Peacock coming down the pike, including the rematch. Hot balls on Peacock.
They're putting us in St. John's on the cock.
Did you not know this? It's on Peacock. So you put the first game opposite the highest rated
I think I hate Val Ackerman more than any female human being on planet Earth. I'm trying to think of another gendered woman that I hate more than Val Ackerman in the last 5 years.
Tennessee, Michelle Marciniak.
No, I didn't like Pat Summitt. I'm terrified of Pat Summitt. Mm-hmm. I would have played for a Pat Summitt. I think I would have reacted to Pat Summitt really well. Don't tell that. Don't say that.
You can't really. Yeah, so the first game is opposite the highest rated non-NFL television sporting event of the year in the Winter Olympics opening ceremony. And the second game is on Peacock. Well done.
In the People's Arena.
That's right.
Which this year has been the rowdier of the 2 arenas. You're welcome.
They have a better. The last time they lost there was to Money Mike Anderson.
Yep, to the real best arena.
I'm not going to. No,
UConn plays.
That's just not true.
Oh, right now it is. Everybody hates to admit it, but it's the truth. I was always right all along. I hope that makes the kids mad.
I think I know what the root of this is for you.
This is me bullying the kids
No.
at UConn. I'm bullying you. I'm imposing myself on you.
It's not going to come through on
daring
the recording, but this is why he thinks this.
That's why we didn't win tonight. When we fucking smash that goal horn, St. John's going to batter into 1,000 pieces. Zubi Ejiofor is going to gamage. He's just going to disappear into rose petals and to nothing as soon as that goal horn hits. We're going to fucking run Sean Burke down the tunnel one more time. Ron Francis is going to rappel from the ceiling. We're going to resurrect Starley-Slavsky. Stu Grimson is going to be wearing the foil, and he's going to be ready to go. Claude Lemieux He's going to find a guy, and he's going to fucking cut block him. We're going to get him, guys. Don't you worry. I'm not afraid of February 25th. You shouldn't be either. Yeah, tonight wasn't our night. I don't want anybody to sit here and be a little bitch. Be a smarmy, little sniveling little bitch. You pick yourself off the mat. You knuckle up. If your nose isn't broken, break it. Wake yourself up. Who needs to breathe through their nostrils anyway? And you come out swinging. Like the woman that you are, the man that you are. You reach way down into your gender subcockles. You pull that shit up. I didn't hear no bell.
And to the St. John's fans thinking, maybe they'll pipe down after the loss tonight. I promise them I'm going to be more obnoxious, more overbearing. And they'll have no choice. We will see them in 3 weeks. We have only
no disqualification.
We've only begun to talk shit.
This is only the start. Ric Flair lost the first match against Ricky Steamboat, and then what happened? He did lose the second match. But he won the one that mattered. And he got pile drive through a table by Terry Funk. That wasn't great. But he won that match too. 2 out of 3 falls. We lost the wrestling match. We're not going to lose the ladder match. We're not going to lose a hardcore match. We're not going to lose a cage match. We're going to drop them on barebacked onto some thumbtacks. Mean Street Posse will be avenged.
With the little bulldog too. It's going to be great. But
the mean streets of Greenwich, Connecticut, folks.
It's a great bit. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh, the best gimmick that ever happened in pro wrestling. Nothing is better. Nothing is better. Pete Gas, Joey Abs, these people fight because St. John's fans fight because they have to. We fight because we like to.
We need that. We need a Mean Street Posse promo.
The best theme music that ever happened too. Schmack Daddy. I'll sweat you people. Queens isn't a borough. The schmo hole. Anyways, folks, are you done hurling?
Yeah, I'm done.
I think I'm done.
Wednesday night.
1:30. We're going to go 1:30 on the dot.
Yeah, how about that? Wednesday, at least I don't have to be up at 6:45. My cat will have other ideas. Hope everybody stays warm this weekend. It should be a mere 40 below wind chill. That'll really help us all get through the loss. Go Seahawks, of course. And we'll be with you Wednesday night, probably around 11 p.m. for our latest interaction in the one-sided affair that is UConn Butler.
We hope it's a one-sided affair. If we lose to Jared, I'm blocking him.
That's fair.
I can't handle that. Please don't lose the game on Wednesday. But until Wednesday night, folks, we will be back with the game. We'll be talking about Bulldogs, Butler Blue, nice arenas. The Mullins got to be so jacked. They're going to drive 2 minutes down the road. And
it's going to be a nice adjustment for them.
Josh is having a hard time tonight. I get it.
It's fine.
It's all right.
Don't read too much into that, people. It's fine.
Yeah, at all.
He took more shots in the second half than the first half, by the way. So.
Yeah, dude.
It was 1 for 5.
Yeah.
Josh,
Yeah, it is what it is. So, anyways, folks, don't shit your pants about anything. We'll be back Wednesday night, and we will get these motherfuckers on the 25th, all right? I don't hear no bitch bag bullshit from any of you.
All right,
Put your tits up, pull your balls up, do whatever you got to do. Get your shit in the game, folks. We're on a losing streak. We're not even on a losing streak. We're on a losing streak. We lost one in a row.
I guess I'm putting the explicit tag on this upload. That's good to know.
Yeah. We lost again. This is unacceptable. A whole game, a whole entire basketball game. I don't know how we'll recover, but we need you people to toughen up. And we'll be back on Wednesday night. But you guys know the deal. Appreciate everybody. I can't believe how many people hung out in this space tonight till 1:30. You people are fucking lunatics. But until Wednesday, we will see you guys then. And you guys know the deal. Until then, everybody, keep in touch with yourselves. Good night, everybody. Go Pats!